Thank you for joining me for Yoga with Sean D. This intro to inversions flow is designed to strengthen your core and upper body while opening your upper back and shoulders for work in forearm stand, headstand, handstand, and shoulder stand. Please grab a blanket and a block if you have one and join me in corpse pose, Shavasana. Giaconda Parker writes, like the seasons and the cycles of life, we can learn to not be surprised when things change, but rather know that this is always the case. We can also come to know that which is unchanging, steady and constant within us, against the backdrop of this ever-changing life. As you breathe here on your mat, set your intention for your practice, that which is unchanging and constant within you, even as you move and flow in your practice. Come back to that intention again and again throughout your practice to steady your focus and to regain your purpose, both on your mat and off of it. Take a full breath in through your nose and let it back out through your nose. Beginning to find a gentle ujjayi breath, maybe gently constricting the back of your throat as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Stretch your arms up overhead for a full body stretch, reaching long from fingertips to feet. Inhale, exhale. Grab a hold of your block, and with palms facing each other, press your hands into your block as you draw your shoulder bones down towards the floor. Stretch your arms up overhead. Draw your belly button to your spine. Legs can stay straight here, or you can keep your knees bent if that's better for your low back. Inhale, and on an exhale, lift arms and legs, placing your block in between your feet. Inhale and stretch long again, hovering just above the floor, and then lift on your exhale, placing your block back in between your hands. Repeat for 10 rounds, pressing your hands into your block to energize legs and arms in towards each other, and squeezing your block with your legs, with your feet or your ankles or your shins, to energize the inner arches of your feet and the inseams of your leg. Inhale and stretch long. Exhale, drawing belly button to your spine as you lift. Keeping that engagement of your core as you lengthen and as you lift. Continuing to move your breath. Pause on an exhale, shoulders lifting up away from the earth, and pulse for 10. Lifting your block up towards your toes a little bit higher with every exhale. On an inhale, lower arms and legs and release your block up above your head. Inhale to stretch, softening your belly with your breath, allowing the abdominal muscles to soften and relax. Hug your knees into your chest and roll your nose up to your knees. Draw your knees wide and squeeze your knees in towards your shoulders, allowing your belly to soften in between your thighs. Roll your feet and ankles, and then grabbing onto the outside edges of your feet, bring the soles of your feet together, knees wide. Keeping your right foot where it is, draw your left foot open into half happy baby. Knee bent, sole of your foot up towards the ceiling. Or you can kick your foot into your hand and stretch your leg a little bit longer to open up into your inner thigh and hip a little bit more. Continue to soften your shoulders down away from your ears. On an exhale, bring soles of your feet back together, knees wide. And then repeat on the other side. Right knee can stay bent with sole of the foot up towards the ceiling. Or you can kick your foot into your hand and stretch your leg a little bit longer, maybe even turning your gaze over towards your outstretched foot to stretch into your neck and shoulders. Bring the soles of your feet back together, knees wide. And then keeping your knees wide, draw both soles of your feet up towards the ceiling for happy baby, Ananda Balasana. You can keep knees bent if that feels good for your back, or you can kick your feet into your hands, stretching legs a little bit longer and rocking side to side. Inhale, and on an exhale, bend your knees. Bring the soles of your feet back together. Draw your nose up to your knees, and breathe. Place your hands behind your thighs and rock and roll yourself up to seated and back a few times. Give your spine and the muscles along your spine a little massage as you rock up and down. And then cross your ankles and step back into your plank pose, Phalangasana. Spread your fingers wide and continue to press the floor away from you, engaging your upper body. Drawing belly button to your spine, engaging your core, and energizing your legs in towards each other, just like there's that block in between them. When you're ready, press back to downward facing dog. Bend one knee, stretching the opposite heel towards the earth, and then switch sides. Walking out your downward facing dog, moving your hips side to side. Continue to draw your chest towards the tops of your thighs. And then look forward, roll up onto your toes. Drop your knees down to the earth. Inhale, and on an exhale, roll your spine up towards the ceiling for cat pose. Drop your belly low, lift your chin and your tail on an inhale for cow pose. Repeat like that for a few more rounds of breath, rounding on your exhale, drawing belly button to your spine, and then dropping your belly low to stretch your front body on an inhale. Exhale. And inhale. You can keep toes tucked under, or you can untuck them and point your toes towards the back of the room, whichever is better for your feet and your ankles and your knees. And then bring the soles of your feet together. Scoot your knees a little bit wider and come in a child's pose. Hips to your heels and arms outstretched in front of you. Soften your forehead to the earth. And breathe into your belly, softening your abdominal wall for a few breaths as you drop your heart towards the floor. When you're ready, roll back onto your tabletop. Tuck your toes under and press back to downward facing dog. Roll up onto your toes on an inhale, look forward and walk to the top of your mat until you're in your forward fold. Flat back on your inhale, and then fold on your exhale. Do that again, lengthen on your inhale, straightening your legs and flattening your back, and then fold a little deeper on your exhale. One more round just like that. Inhale to stretch. Exhale to fold. And then stay here in your forward fold for a few more rounds of breath. If you need a little extra wrist stretch, you can turn the backs of your hands down towards the floor to stretch into your wrists. Or maybe grab opposite elbows and gently rock side to side. When you're ready, slowly roll vertebrae stacking on vertebrae all the way up to standing. Head comes up last. Sweep your arms up to the sky on an inhale. Bring your palms together at heart center on your exhale. Inhale and sweep your arms up, gazing towards your fingertips. Fold on your exhale. Flat back on your inhale. Fold on your exhale. Step your left foot back into a lunge. Press down into your standing right foot like you're about to step right at the top of your mat. Engage your legs just as if there's a block in between them. Roll your shoulders back and down and reach your heart forward, making your spine long. And then step back to downward facing dog. Rock forward into your plank pose and lower down. Point your toes back. Clasp your hands behind your back and peel your heart up away from the earth. Continuing to press the tops of your feet down and reaching your heart forward towards the front of your mat. Inhale here, and on an exhale, release back down to the earth. Plant your hands underneath your shoulders and press back to downward facing dog. Step your left foot in between your hands, coming into that same low lunge. Press down into your standing left foot. Roll your shoulders back and reach your heart forward, making your spine long. Inhale, and on an exhale, step forward back into your forward fold. Flat back on your inhale. Stretching your arms out to the side, squeeze shoulder blades together on your back, and then come all the way up to standing, palms together, hands at heart center. Inhale and stretch long. Fold, pausing halfway. Keep energizing your legs together, just as if you have those blocks in between them as you fold all the way down into your Uttanasana. Flat back on your inhale, fold on your exhale. Step back with your right foot this time, coming into your lunge. Lengthening your spine just like you did the first round. Plant your right hand and bring your left hand to the top of your left thigh. You can stay here, or you can stretch your left arm up towards the ceiling, twisting a little bit deeper. Maybe even turning your gaze up towards your fingertips if that feels okay on your neck. Look down towards the earth and plant your hands. Set back to downward facing dog. Rock forward into your plank pose on an inhale. Chaturanga on your exhale. Point your toes back, roll your shoulders back and down, and peel your heart up for cobra pose, squeezing elbows together behind your back. Roll back to downward facing dog on an exhale. Step your right foot forward in between your hands. Keeping your left hand planted, twisting over your right shoulder this time. Keep pressing down into your right foot as if you're standing just on that right foot at the top of your mat. And extend your right arm up towards the sky if that's appropriate and available for you on this side. Inhale, and on an exhale, look down and plant your hands. Step forward into forward fold. Rise all the way up to standing on your inhale. Palms together, hands at heart center on your exhale. Inhale, look up and reach up. Forward fold on your exhale. Flat back on your inhale. Fold and step your left foot back. Rise up into crescent lunge this time, sweeping your arms up towards the sky and reaching the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Gaze up towards your fingertips as you inhale. Float your hands back to the earth on your exhale. Step back to downward facing dog. Shift forward into your plank pose. Chaturanga on your exhale. Cobra or upward facing dog on your inhale. Downward facing dog on your exhale. Step your left foot forward and rise up into your crescent lunge. All 10 toes are staying forward. Still pressing down into your front foot like you're standing at the top of your mat on that front foot. Ground down into all four corners as you reach up to your fingertips and through the crown of your head to get long. Sink down into your legs. Inhale and gaze toward your fingertips. Exhale and plant your hands. Step forward into forward fold. Flat back on your inhale. Fold on your exhale. Come all the way up to standing on your inhale. Palms together, hands at heart center as you fold on your exhale. Flat back on your inhale. Fold on your exhale. Step your right foot back, sweep your arms to the sky. Gaze up towards your fingertips on your inhale. Float hands to the floor on your exhale. Step back to downward facing dog. Rock forward into your plank pose and lower down. Cobra or upward facing dog on an inhale. Down dog on your exhale. Step your right foot in between your hands, rise up into crescent lunge on your inhale. Hands float to the floor on your exhale. Step forward into your forward fold. Flat back on your inhale, fold on your exhale. Rise all the way up to standing on your inhale. Palms together, hands at heart center on your exhale. Stepping off of your mat, shift your weight into one foot and bring the sole of your other foot somewhere along the inside of your standing leg. The only place you don't want to place that foot is right on your knee joint. Anywhere else will do. And then press your foot into your standing leg and stretch out through your knee. Open up into your hips. Palms can stay together at heart center. You can stretch your arms up overhead like I'm doing here. Maybe gazing up towards your fingertips for balance, to challenge your balance a little bit more. Or even try closing your eyes. Bring your palms back together at heart center. Step your foot wide and lower down into a yogi squat, Malasana variation. Energize your legs into your arms as you press your palms together. Lift your heart to your thumbs and stretch the crown of your head up towards the sky. Now, press down into your feet and lift back up to standing. Shift your weight over into the other foot and come in a tree pose on the other side. Placing your foot somewhere along the inside of your standing leg, anywhere but right on your knee joint. And then pressing your foot into your standing leg to stretch out through your knee, opening up into your hip. Palms can stay together at heart center, or if you wish, you can stretch them up overhead on this side. Step wide with your foot, palms together at heart center, and lower down into your second round of Malasana. You can stay in your yogi squat, or if you want to, we're going to play with a crow pose variation. So grab onto your block and place it out in front of you. Come back into your Malasana, and then rather than pressing your palms together at heart center, press your palms into the earth. Squeezing your legs into your arm bones, rise your hips and come up onto your toes. Place your forehead on your block. Lift one toe, maybe the other toe. Squeezing your big toes in towards each other. Play with Bakasana for as long as you like, with the block or without it. Squeezing legs into arm bones and drawing belly button to your spine. Another option is to move into headstand from your crow pose, dropping the crown of your head down to the earth, and with hands planted, stretching your legs up towards the ceiling. When you're ready to come down, knees back onto your arms. From your crow pose, you can step back to downward facing dog, or you can shoot back into your chaturanga. Use an inhale to curl up into cobra or upward facing dog. And then press back to child's pose on an exhale. Allow your hands and your wrists to rest here for a moment without any weight. Breathe in, and as you exhale, press up onto your tabletop. Tuck your toes under and walk your hands back until you're seated on your heels. Turn your palm facing forward, fingers facing up, and gently draw your fingers back with the other hand, getting a wrist in your hand, a stretch in your hand and your wrist. Release both hands down and then repeat on the other side for several breaths. Place your hands back down. Circle your wrists several times. And then repeat the stretch, this time turning your fingers down towards the floor, backs of your hands facing out away from you. Roll wrists several times in between sides, and then repeat on the other side. Gently drawing your fingers and your palm in towards your wrist. Release both hands back to the earth when you're ready, and press back to downward facing dog. Stretch your right leg back behind you on an inhale, and as you exhale, draw your knee in towards your nose. Step your foot in between your hands and spin your left heel to the earth for Warrior One. Sink down into your legs as you stretch up through your fingertips. And then open up into Warrior Two. Soft gaze over your front fingertips. Sink your right thigh bone a little bit closer to the earth, and then keep that as you reverse your warrior, reaching your right arm up and back. Inhale here. And then on an exhale, sweep your hands to either side of your right foot, lift your back heel, and step back to your plank pose. Chaturanga, lowering down. Cobra or up dog on your inhale. Downward facing dog on your exhale. Repeat on the other side. Left leg lifts on an inhale, knee to your nose on your exhale, and step it through for Warrior One. Back heel spins to the earth. Right hip rolls forward as your left hip rolls back. And then open up into Warrior Two. Send your tailbone down to the earth as you sink your left thigh bone towards the floor. Flip your left palm up, reach forward, up and back to reverse your warrior. Stretching into your left side body as you reach your left arm up and over your head. Inhale here, and as you exhale, float your hands to the earth, lift your back heel, step back to plank pose and lower down. Inhale, reach your heart through. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Look forward as you inhale, move forward as you exhale. Ardha Uttanasana on your inhale, hold on your exhale. Come all the way up to standing as you inhale. Gaze up towards your fingertips. Palms together, hands at heart center on your exhale. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Uttanasana, exhale. Ardha Uttanasana, inhale. Chaturanga on your exhale. Bhujangasana. And then back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Reach your right leg back behind you on your inhale. Step it through on your exhale and rise up. Virabhadrasana 1. Vira 2 on an exhale. Reverse on your inhale. Float your hands to the floor on your exhale. Step back to your plank pose. And lower down. Stretch your right leg back behind you this time. Bend your right knee. Stack your right hip on top of your left. Draw your right knee back into your nose and step your right foot back in between your hands. This time all 10 toes face forward as you lift back up into your crescent pose. Stretch your arms up towards the sky as you inhale, and twist over your right shoulder towards your bent knee on your exhale. Turn your gaze toward your back hand, and reverse on an inhale, flipping your front palm up towards the sky. Float both hands, just your left hand down to the earth. Moving into a revolved half moon. Stretch your left leg back behind you. Right hand can stay on your right hip, or you can stretch your right hand up towards the sky. Lift the back of your left leg up towards the ceiling. Inhale. Step forward on your exhale. Flat back on your inhale. Fold on your exhale. Step back to your plank pose and lower down. Inhale, cobra, up dog, downward facing dog on your exhale. Switch your left leg back behind you on your inhale. Step it in between your hands on your exhale and rise up into warrior one. Open up into warrior two. Send your left hand up and reverse your warrior. And then float hands down to either side of your left foot. Send your left leg straight back behind you, bend your left knee and stack your left hip on top of your right. Still drawing your chest towards your right thigh, just like in downward facing dog. Inhale here on your exhale, knee to your nose. Step your left foot in between your hands and rise up into crescent lunge. All 10 toes face forward, back heel is lifted. Inhale through center and on your exhale, twist over your left shoulder. Turn your gaze toward your back hand. Reach your front palm up towards the sky and reverse. Inhale and stretch. Exhale and drop your right hand down. Left hand to your left hip as you lift your right leg up towards the sky, coming into your revolved half moon. Find balance here. Lift your right leg towards the ceiling and stretch back through your back heel. Inhale and step forward on your exhale. Flat back on your inhale. Fold on your exhale. Slowly roll all the way up to standing, stacking vertebrae on vertebrae. Head comes up last. Sweep your arms overhead as you inhale. Bring your palms together at heart center on your exhale and fold. Flat back on your inhale. Fold and step or float back to your chaturanga. Inhale to reach your heart forward. Child's pose on your exhale. Grab a hold of your block if you're using one. Come down to your forearms so your shoulders are stacked over your elbows. And turn your palms in to face each other just like they were at the beginning of practice when you were laying down on your back. Tuck your toes under and lift your hips. Find that same muscle tone in your arms as when you were holding your block at the beginning of practice. Press your palms into your block. Energize your arm bones in towards each other as you tiptoe your toes closer to your face. Belly button hugs to your spine. And perhaps you begin to lift and lower your legs here. Lifting your hips closer to stacking over your shoulders. You can stay right here in the center of the room, lifting and lowering your legs, or maybe working on your forearm balance in the center of the room. If you want to use the wall, you're going to set up the same way, forearms to your mat, shoulders over your elbows. And as you lift and lower your legs, your back toes maybe float up away from the earth. You have that wall behind you now, so maybe you tap the wall with your extended foot. Maybe you find some balance. Taking hips over your shoulders, drawing belly button to your spine and pressing the floor away from you with your forearms as you charge them towards one another. Maybe legs come together and you balance in your forearm stand. When you're finished, allow your knees to float back to the earth. Come back to your mat. Drop your forehead to the earth for a child's pose. Come back to your breath. Back to your intention. Back to steadiness, ease, unchanging intention for your practice today. Unchanging intention for your day, for your leg. Round your spine on an exhale. Cat pose. Inhale into cow pose. And then press back to downward facing dog. Send your right leg back behind you as you inhale. Step your foot in between your hands. Rise up into warrior one. Exhale as you open up into warrior two. Reverse your warrior on your inhale. Float your hands to the earth on your exhale. Send your right leg back behind you as you inhale. Bend your knee and stack your hip. Maybe you flip your dog this time. Letting your right foot find the floor. Drawing your shoulders back and down, pointing your fingers towards your heels. Energize your legs in towards each other as if you have that block in between your feet and your thigh. And then when you're ready, unwind back around. Extend your right leg back behind you as you inhale. Step it in between your hands on your exhale. Rise up into your crescent lunge, all 10 toes face forward. Twist over your right shoulder on your exhale. Reverse your revolved lunge on your inhale. Last half moon on this side. Left hand plants, left leg lifts, and then step forward into your forward fold. Flat back on your inhale, fold on your exhale. Chair pose. Sit your hips back and lift your heart. Come all the way up to standing on your inhale, palms at heart center on your exhale. Shift your weight into your right foot and send your left leg back behind you, coming into warrior three. Stretch your arms out in front of you. Draw your belly button to your spine, and then as slowly as you can, lower yourself into standing splits. Hands come down last to the floor. Extend your left leg back behind you as you fold over your right leg, pressing the floor away from you with your hands as you reach your heart forward to inhale and fold deeper on your exhale. Lift the back of your left leg high to the sky as you inhale. Step forward into forward fold on your exhale. Flat back on your inhale, fold on your exhale. Rise all the way up to standing again on your inhale. Right back down into your fold on your exhale. Inhale to stretch. Exhale to chaturanga. Lower down and lift your heart on your inhale. Downward facing dog. Last side with this flow. Extend your left leg on your inhale. Step it in between your hands on your exhale. Rise up into your warrior one. Open up into your warrior two. Reverse on an inhale. Float your hands to the floor on your exhale. Send your left leg back behind you. Bend your left knee and stack your left hip on top of your right. Stay here. Flip your dog around one more time here. Reaching for the floor. Walking your feet hip distance apart. Energizing your legs in towards each other as if you have that block between your shins. And then when you're ready, unwind. Stretch your left leg back behind you. Inhale. Step your foot in between your hands on your exhale. Rise up into your lunge on your inhale. Twist on your exhale. Reverse on your inhale. Float your right hand down to the earth on your exhale. Last revolved half moon. Left hand can stay on your hip or you can extend it to the sky. And then step forward on an exhale. Chair pose. All the way up to standing on your inhale. Palms at heart center on your exhale. Shift your weight into your left foot and stretch your right leg back for warrior three. Continue to keep rolling your right hip down towards the earth, squaring your hips towards the floor, and lowering as slowly as you can into your standing split. Inhale and reach your heart forward a little bit more, and then on your exhale, fold a little bit deeper as you stretch the back of your right leg high to the sky. One more time, lengthen as you inhale, fold as you exhale. Soften your knees and step forward into forward fold. Flat back on your inhale, fold on your exhale. Turn the backs of your hands down to the earth. And start to walk the palms of your hands underneath your feet. Maybe your toes reach all the way to your wrists, maybe not, just moving in that general direction. Flat back as you inhale, fold as you exhale. As you press down into your hands with your feet, draw your elbows wide and your chest towards the tops of your thighs, engaging your upper body. Strong as you fold yourself deeper into this forward fold. One more round of breath in Padahastasana. And then walk your hands out from underneath your feet. Big stretch to inhale, and as you exhale, slowly roll all the way back up to standing. Head comes up low. Shine your palms forward as you stand in forward fold. Both of your feet grounded to the earth. Crown of your head lifting tall towards the sky. Space and lengthen your back body as you breathe in and out. We're going to move into handstand here. So start by placing your hands on the wall and walking your feet back, making an L shape with your body. So hands slide down the wall as much as they need to. Draw your belly button to your spine and imagine that you have your block in between your feet or your shins. Energize your legs in towards each other. Imagine that you have that block in between your hands and energize your arms in towards each other. And then stretch the crown of your head towards the wall rather than letting it drop down in between your arms. Feel the length of your spine. And then when you're ready, come all the way back up to standing. We're going to do the same thing, but you're going to reverse it. So this time, come to all fours, back your heels up against the wall, tuck your toes under like you're going to do cat-cow. Shoulders stack over your wrists. And then lift your hips in a very narrow downward facing dog. Look forward and stack your shoulders over your wrists. And then begin to walk your feet up the wall until your hips are stacked over your shoulders. You can stay like that, or you can lift and lower your legs. Just see what it feels like to be upside down. Take a few nice deep breaths here. And then when you're ready, slowly walk your feet back down to the floor. Sit your hips to your heels for child's pose. Plant your finger pads down towards the floor, the palms of your hands up, and give your hands and your wrists a stretch. You can work on that version of handstand again, walking your feet up the wall if that's a good place for you to stay today. Or one more option is to face the wall, starting again in tabletop with your toes tucked under. Lift your hips up into downward facing dog. Step one foot a little bit closer to the floor and lift the other leg up towards the sky. Lifting and lowering your legs just like when we were on our forearms earlier. Stacking shoulders over your wrists. Maybe you make contact with the wall behind you. Draw your belly button towards your spine. Stack shoulders over wrists, hips over shoulders, and breathe. When you're finished, back to your mat. Come in a child's pose. Wrap your arms around the outsides of your legs, palms facing up, and allow your shoulders and hands and wrists to soften. Come back to your intention, steady and unchanging, just like your breath. Continue to allow it to move in and back out. When you're ready, press yourself back up to your tabletop, cross your ankles, and roll through to seated. Bring the soles of your feet together, holding on to your shins, ankles, or feet. Draw your shoulder blades down your back and sit tall through the crown of your head. Inhale. Exhale. Take your peace fingers, your first two fingers around your two big toes. Shift your weight into your sits bones and lift your feet up away from the earth, still pressing the soles of your feet together. Just like we did when we were laying on our backs at the beginning of practice, keep your right foot where it is and extend your left leg out to the side, still balancing your right foot away from the earth. You can turn your gaze towards your left foot and then bring soles of your feet back together. Belly button hugs to your spine, shoulders roll down your back as you sit tall. Keep your left foot where it is and extend your right leg out to the side. Breathe in. Breathe out. When you're ready, soles of your feet come back together. Stay here or extend both of your feet open wide. Draw your shoulders down your back and lifting your heart, working to sit tall. Like you're working to lift your heart through your legs and the crown of your head up towards the ceiling, making yourself longer. When you're ready, slowly lower your legs all the way down to the earth with control. Stretch your arms up towards the sky and fold forward on an exhale. Hands can land anywhere. Maybe you don't even fold here. Maybe sitting up tall is what your inner thighs and hips need. Walk your hands out in front of you just as far as you need to. And then when you're ready, walk your hands just about halfway back in towards you. Keep your left hand planted and extend your right arm up to the sky. And then thread the needle and come all the way down onto your right shoulder, twisting towards your left leg. When you're ready, plant your left hand next to your face once again. Extend your right arm back towards the sky. And switch sides. Plant your right hand, stretch your left arm up. Inhale, and as you exhale, thread the needle all the way into your twist until you can relax down onto your left side. Put your right hand next to your face when you're ready to unwind. Stretch your left arm up. Inhale. Bring both hands back to the earth on your exhale. Come all the way back up to seated. Bend your knees and slide your knees together. And then stretch your legs out in front of you. Just as if you have that block in between your shins, energize your legs in towards each other as you hinge from your hips and fold over your legs. When you're ready, slowly roll vertebrae by vertebrae all the way back up to seated. Allow your head to come up left. Bend your knees and press yourself to the top of your mat, taking your block along with you. Fold your blanket in half and bring it about 3/4 of the way down your mat. So there's just enough room on the opposite side of it for your head to rest. And then come down so that your shoulder blades, the tops of your shoulders, not your shoulder blades, are lined up with the top edge of your mat. So just your head is off of your blanket. Shoulders are lined up with the top edge of your blanket. And then you're going to lift up into bridge pose and slide your block underneath your tailbone. So we'll just stay here in a supported bridge pose for a few rounds of breath. There's a few different height options that you can choose with your block, so choose the one that's best for you here. And then roll your arms open, palms facing the sky. Soften your face and your gaze and just allow your low back to lengthen as you breathe in. Allowing all of your weight to rest in that supportive block. If you don't have a block, you can do this with your back flat on the earth. Or you can take bridge pose, which isn't as supportive, but still does the job nicely. You can stay here for those next few rounds of breath. And if you're in bridge pose without a block, come flat down onto your back. If you have your block in the highest level, bring it down at least one notch, maybe two. And then stretch one leg and the other leg up towards the ceiling and come into a supported shoulder stand. Arms still resting down at your sides and your gaze straight ahead so you're not putting any weight or pressure into your neck at all. And you have your blanket folded there to support your neck just a little bit more. You can stay in the supported shoulder stand, a nice supported inversion, or you can move into full shoulder stand. So you're going to keep your upper body lined up on your blanket. If you need to slide a little bit further away from the wall, you're welcome to do that, but then bring your head back over the top of your blanket just like it was. Hug your knees into your chest. Or maybe your knees just stay hugging into your chest. That's a good place to stay as well. Maybe you come into plow pose, stretching your legs over the top of your head, and you can place that block behind you if you want to bring your toes to the block, or maybe they come all the way down to the earth. Hands are at your back to support your low back. Gaze stays straight ahead here. You can stay in plow pose with feet overhead, or stretch one leg and then the other leg up towards the ceiling for shoulder stand. Hands at your low back for support. Gaze stays straight ahead. Reach through your toes like you're trying to touch the ceiling with your toes, reaching up out of your neck, making your spine long. As you're ready, slowly lower your feet back down to the block or to the floor. Stretch your arms long, as if you're making a runway for your spine, and then slowly lower down, hugging your knees back into your chest. Rock your knees over to one side. Release your blanket out from underneath you. And come flat down onto your back. Slide your hands underneath your seat, palms facing down for fish pose. Roll your shoulders back behind you and roll just to the top of your head, decompressing your throat. Feet can stay planted, or you can stretch your legs long. That's your choice. Take several breaths here. And then when you're ready, slowly roll back down, flat on your back. Release your arms out from underneath you. Roll your palms up towards the sky. Soften your face, your gaze. Close your eyes all the way. What Do We Know? By Mary Oliver. The sky cleared. I was standing under a tree, and there were stars in the sky that were also themselves at the moment. At which moment my right hand was holding my left hand, which was holding the tree, which was filled with stars and the soft rain. Imagine the long and wondrous journeys still to be ours. You're welcome to stay here resting for as long as you need in your Shavasana. Allow all of that movement, that inverting, to settle into your body. Come back to your unchanging intention. All of the light and the love within me bows to the light and the love within you. Namaste.